Hi, hello out there everyone. Welcome to my spiral notebook. I'm Janelle and I'm glad you're here today and sharing some time with me. And I hope that this is a welcome back out there too. So this is my third video for this channel, and after two kind of introductory style videos into my notebook systems and the notebooks that I use, I thought today that I'd talk a little more about my notebook style and how, after being in these kind of new planner and calendar systems for about a year and a half now, that I've come to realize, I think, that my style of planning and tracking is definitely leaning more to more straightforward functional planning and logging and journaling, I think, and a little less pretty. And when I say functional, I don't mean with a packed schedule and time blocks and a ton of things to do. In fact, I mean the exact opposite of that, because of where I am in my life at this time, and I am trying to cultivate a slow life, and I am not an overly busy person, and that is by design. But trying to sustain that type of mindset and not frequently expecting myself to be more productive doesn't come without some real mental struggle. And I know definitely for myself that a mind condition to productivity runs deep, and that is something that I struggled with a lot in the first month or so after I left my full-time job, and it is still a struggle sometimes on a daily basis. And now I'm still working through how I want to structure my time for myself, and that I get to decide now my own productivity, and that these things aren't decided for me from external factors and controls. Now, of course, there are still schedules that I need to keep. You know, I'm a wife and I'm a mother. There are scheduled things around that, and I have appointments like everyone else. But outside of that, I just want to keep things mostly slow and calm, with less pressure, less stress, and that is just how I want and choose to spend the majority of my time. So today I'd like to talk through how I am now trying to invite some more consistent structure back into my life and my days, and how I am wanting to use my daily planner and my daily log here as a tool to help me do this. And that is the point of this for me, to talk through these things. And I have found, surprisingly, that when I do that here, that it just helps me to talk through things and to kind of figure things out and realize some things for myself. That whole talking out loud thing. And as I'm also moving forward and heading into some cooler months here, some cozier months, I am really just trying to create some soft structure in my days so I can start to see some more sustained progress with my current interests and the things that I want to be doing and learning more about right now. So some real struggle tends to come up for me because I am inherently an information seeker. It's how I've always been. It's just my personality. It's what I read. It's how I consume media. Most times this information is pertinent to my life in some way. It is something that I want to incorporate into my life in some way. And sometimes it's just things that I find interesting or that I'm curious about, because at heart, I am a lifelong learner. Because I have so many or several things and interests going on in my head pretty continuously, mind overwhelm can creep in for me too. And especially at this time for me and working through recovering from burnout, my motivation and my mental energy can just kind of shut down things for me, where I feel like I'm not moving forward with anything, or sporadically at best. So I have come to some realizations over the past several months that with all of the things that I want to do and things that I want to continue to learn about, that I have to try to narrow these things down and try to focus on certain areas at a time, instead of just going kind of back and forth and jumping between so many different things. And maybe, hopefully not having so many different subjects jumping around my brain, I will be able to see a little more sustained progress, because that's what I want. I still want to finish things. I still want to create and to learn and to continue to grow and do things. And I'm just not seeing the type of progress that I would like to be seeing right now. And I'm okay with it being slow progress, as long as I'm seeing some progress. And I'm just trying to figure out how I can, maybe with my daily planner here, try to create, a little system for myself, a little structure that can help me get there. So that is what I'm discussing today, and some functional planning. And I'm talking through this with you, and also talking through this with myself. So I hope you will, if that interests you, and stick around a little bit, maybe see how my messy brain works here a little bit, and how I use my planner as a kind of sometimes messy tool to get me there. Because this is where it starts for me. Because this is where I track my days, what I'm doing and how I'm feeling, and anything else that might come up, it goes in here. So I will just get in here and get started. I think I want to start with just a quick look back at September to kind of give an overview and get us up to where we are now for some structure that I've brought in, or that I'm trying to bring in. So I will start here in September on my monthlies. So I am still using my monthlies to track my physical activity, and then some high-level appointments is how I'm using this now. And when I look at this monthly for September, what I can see, quickly for myself, is that I didn't get a whole lot of physical activity in September, and there are various reasons for that, but I can look at my monthly. This is why I like the monthly overview for that, to see that I didn't get as much physical activity as I would like. I also have my monthly sleep tracker here and my daily energy score tracker. So I can see with my daily sleep tracker that my goal is 7 or 7+ hours a night. But I got a consistent kind of 6.5 hours. I can see that on here. And that's not bad if it's a solid 6.5 hours, and I will track whether or not I have like a solid night of sleep, or what I consider a broken night of sleep, which is if I wake up through the night and I have a hard time getting back to sleep, or if I'm just kind of tossing and turning through the night, that is a broken night of sleep for me. So if I'm getting a solid, 6.5, then that's not bad. So September wasn't terrible for sleep. It's not as sporadic as it has been some other months. And for my energy score tracker, I can see that I track my energy score from 1 to 4 each day, and I have mostly 3s, which is just kind of a regular good day. And I had 1 4, which is really good, so that's a good thing. But I also I noticed here several 2s, and then I count and tally them up here at the side. But there are more 2s here than I would like to see for a month. And, I don't have any 1s, so that's good. That's kind of a really bad day, so I didn't have any of those. but I still see probably more 2s here that I want. And then I can go into my weeklies where I kind of track my days and see what may have been going on that day for why I felt that way. So I'm still keeping consistent with my monthly spread, and then that comes over into where we are now in October, and I'm still doing the same thing, tracking my physical activity and then high-level appointments currently, and then my sleep and energy score tracker. What I am noticing with my monthlies is that it's looking a little jumbled for me. I think I love tracking my physical activity here. I'm not sure about the appointment things. I'll keep doing this for the rest of the year because there's only, a few months left. But I may switch this up a little bit for 2026. We'll see. Like I said, I don't have a ton of appointments. And the appointments that I do have, honestly, I keep things in the calendar on my phone because if I don't have that alarm, or that reminder for things, and things will get lost for me. So I think I want to focus on my monthly spread as I'm trying to kind of combine things into one book here to do my physical activity. But still the same layout for October. Physical activity, my 2 monthly trackers. So getting into my weeklies, and I want to start with September. So this first week of September, what I was thinking, I kind of had set an intention for myself to try to invite more structure into my life. And I wasn't exactly sure what that structure looked like. I just knew that I wanted to try and get some more kind of structure and routine into my days. When I wrote it down here, I saw something with my astrology things. I was like, structure does not have to limit me. Structure can set me free. And that hit home for me because, I do tend to have some OCD tendencies, and, structure is good. I do like lists. I like checking things off of lists. I like to kind of keep track clearly of what I'm doing and things that I want to do. So structure isn't necessarily a bad thing. It was just, for me, I kind of just threw all of that out the window for a while, but now I realize that it's okay to start inviting some more structure in. So in September, I was still tracking my days up top, my energy score. I still have my food log here at the bottom. I have my kind of wellness tracker things here on my sidebar. I also track here in the little monthly calendar here. I do have some spend things in here, which, I've been doing that for a little while too. And I also have my 150 minutes of physical activity that I track here. So that's really whether or not if I hit the 150 minutes that week. So I'll just check mark it if I do, and then just put an X if I don't. So that's just another kind of physical activity tracker that I keep here. And then I have my few wellness trackers, and I always have plenty of room here where I can throw an additional tracker in here if I need to. But again, I didn't know what the framework was for the structure. I just knew that I wanted to keep thinking about it and keep, wanting to, tell myself that I wanted to invite the structure in. So some highlights, I guess, for September. I did start a Substack challenge, a writing challenge. I've spoken here before about wanting to write more. And I did do that. It was a 10-day challenge I wanted to commit to, just to put a couple notes out each day. And I did that for 10 days, and it was nice to do that, to kind of get my brain going again in a writing format, to start thinking that way. But what I noticed was that it drained me a little bit. The following week, when I was kind of deep in it, I wasn't in my planner a lot. I was writing, I was thinking about other things, so I just wasn't leaving a lot of room for myself to get back in here and do much. I don't think I was maybe journaling as much. this week either, and so I'm a little empty here. Even my food tracker kind of fell off this week, but this is okay. Like I've mentioned before, I don't feel the need to have every inch, of these pages filled out. This planner is for me, is to serve me. I don't serve this planner. So if I don't get in here and, and have every space filled out or every day filled out with something, that's something that I'm okay with. So, again, just tracking, trying to think of ways to, kind of narrow my interest down. And that realization really came towards the end of the month, and I wrote it down in here that I wanted to think of new ways to get weekly structures in. So it was kind of maybe an epiphany for me by the end of the month, I'm not sure. But I did decide, I just needed to maybe kind of narrow things down. And some other things that I realized toward the end of the month, I'm still working on decluttering. I've mentioned that before. So I've been doing a lot of digital decluttering because I keep a ridiculous amount of tabs open on my phone, and I found this great new app where I could send articles and posts and things to that to read later. So I'm just reducing the number of tabs I have open. And digital declutter totally counts. Clearing your mental space is just as important as clearing your physical space, and that is something that I'm working on. I also have totally uninstalled Instagram from my phone, and this has been at least, 2 weeks ago now, and it's just something I needed to do or wanted to do. I am a social media user, like everyone else. Here I am, I'm talking on YouTube. But I feel as though I learn things from YouTube. I use YouTube as a learning tool, and I don't just sit and scroll on YouTube like I would do on Instagram. So I have completely uninstalled that app. I'm not missing it, to be honest. It's kind of nice not having that quick go-to just to kill time. And I will, get into some other things I'd like to do with my time, now that I may have a little bit of extra. A couple other things that I want to do and then I'm including in my focus areas and talking through things here. In my last video, I kind of went through my notebook system and some of my reference notebooks. And in doing that, I realized that I was not in two of my kind of, important to me notebooks, my journey book, and my crystal journal. And I've had those things for quite a while now, and I'm just not getting into them as much as I would like to. So that is something else that I want to kind of focus on a little bit more and, not necessarily get into them every day, but certainly try to get into them more often and just keep reminders up for myself of what I want to do. So this is the first week of October, and I have a couple talking points here because clearly this is a mess, and this hot mess I see before me of what I went into this first week of October, just when you're excited about something and you're trying to do something new. And I just, wrote some things out here, and a lot of things didn't work this first week, and that's okay. But the main thing, or one of the main things that I want to focus on, one of my focus areas, is to finish books that I've started. So I've had a bit of an issue recently, maybe the past 4 or 5 months, of starting books and not finishing them. And I don't know why. I'm just not giving myself the time to do it. I have this kind of small stack of books here that I've started and that I want to finish. One of the big ones is this burnout book. And I started this one in March, like right after I left my job. And I was getting into it. It's a really good book. It's written by a clinical psychologist. But then I started my life design class, and there was a book to read for that. So I went through that book, and I tried to get back into this book in like end of May, early June, and I just couldn't get back into it. I think the book it's very interesting. There's a lot of good information. A lot of the things were hitting close to home for me, maybe too close in some instances. And I just really got tired of reading about my own burnout. At that point, I just wanted things to be better, and I didn't really want to, talk or think about it much anymore. But it doesn't go away that quickly, and you just have to, work through things. But I want to finish this book just so I can finish it and get it off my plate. And then I have a few other books that I've started here. So some subject areas that I'm wanting to learn more about. Some education things. I've, mentioned, I think that, we do homeschool our daughters. So I have a couple education style things here that I'm reading through. And then this is actually for my book club for the unschooling group that I'm involved with. But another one is writing for myself. So I have this memoir style book here, and this is kind of the genre that I am writing in. So I started this little book and very much into it, but I'm kind of going back and forth between several. But this is just a big focus point for me. I want to read. I love to read. I love, acquiring this information. But I need to kind of structure my days to give myself more time to do that. So as I was coming into this week, I was looking at fixed actions. So one of the things, this book has like writing exercises. So I'm like, okay, on this day I'm going to do, these writing exercises from my book. And then on this day I'm going to listen to some things from this Portugal summit, which that is something I got way back in the spring. I've mentioned where we want to travel to Portugal. And then this day I'm going to do, my D-School challenge. And then on this day it's just going to be a read-only day. And I kind of put these fixed actions, and I wrote all these things down before the day or the week even got started. And I realized most of these things didn't happen. So I was just kind of taking up space, kind of being gung-ho, like, okay, we're going to structure our day. We're going to write all these things down. And just a lot of it didn't end up happening. So I have switched things up to come into the next week. So this is a mess, and it's okay that it's a mess. Like I said, I need to do this in real time on my pages. And if it looks messy and not pretty, then so be it, because I am trying to work through these things for myself to make this planner, serve me as best as possible. So coming into the current week, I have switched things up. So I'm still tracking my days as I normally track my days. But what I've done is put my focus areas, in the extra space that I have here. And then as I am completing things and working on things and doing things, I can move that up here. And I think that having these reminders here, I know where my focus areas are. I know what I want to do, and then I can move those things up here. So that is what I'm looking at now, how I'm trying to structure this. I have, maybe even cut out some things for next week. I'm already thinking about next week, and my hope is that this just improves, each week. And as I am, finishing books and, finishing just, things within my interests, that these reminders will just keep moving ahead. So, yeah, I am not doing great as far as, getting these things up here on a daily basis. It's not going to happen overnight. And that's just something that I need to, be okay with as well. I said I have my focus areas. As I'm doing them, I'll move them up. I've kind of cut the Portugal Summit, and I'm focusing on this masterclass. So I do have a masterclass membership, and I find that like maybe in the evenings, that is just something quick I can turn on and kind of listen to, maybe take a few notes for, and it's just, it's something fairly easy. And there's so many things on there, that I want to listen to. It's why I got the membership, and I don't have a lot of memberships, but, I did that because there were so many things of interest to me that I wanted to listen to these people, talk about their specialties. So, I'm doing the master class instead of the Portugal Summit. What else? So I have my books, the D-School Challenge, the home office. I'm trying to reorganize and do some things here in my home office, but that's something that's going to probably go over several months. And then I have my journey book and crystal journal here. So a reminder for myself to do this. And I have radar here because coming into next week, I've already kind of started this page for it and what, hopefully to help me with some things for next week. So I have my focus areas and then things that are kind of on my radar. So still books, still D-School Challenge, still declutter, physical and digital, and then, keeping up with some masterclass sessions, and then my journey book and my crystal journal. And again, keeping things down here so that I can move them up into the weeks as I'm doing them so I can see that steady progress. And that's the plan. That's the goal. And could this get repetitive, just kind of repeating these things each week, possibly. I have this written like there's repetitive and routine are not that far away from each other. So this is how I'm trying this. This is how I'm trying to invite structure in. If I can keep up with this, if I start seeing some, sustained progress from that, looking at this each week to just give me a quick reminder of these are the things you want to be doing. These are the things you want to be focusing on, without stress, without pressure, and just keeping in my head that, this is where you want to be focusing your attention, then hopefully it's not repetitive and it becomes just more of my regular routine. That's the goal. That's what I'm thinking. So we will see. And this is the structure that I'm thinking about for the next month. And that's just talking through that right now has made me kind of content and at ease here a little bit. So that's great. It's starting out a bit messy, clearly, and that's okay too. Like I said, this is not a pretty process for me. This is a functional process for me to try and work through things and make things work for me. So that is the point. And that is all I have for this one, I think. Some messy, maybe, functional planning. But that is it for this one today. And I thank you for stopping by and sharing your time with me again. And if you have any questions or suggestions, they are welcome. And again, I would love to engage with that. So that is all that I have for now. And I will say take care and bye now. Thanks.